What makes something scary, creepy, terrifying, or just so strange that it haunts our dreams? For some, all it takes is a spider or a snake. For others, it needs to be an eldritch horror straight from H.P. Lovecraft's world. Many of the more famous prehistoric beasts gain notoriety because there's something about them, be it the size of their teeth, that they're covered in spikes, or their sheer size, that elicits a primeval sense of dread in our mammalian brains. Hopefully somewhere in this article is a creature that sends a bone-chilling tingle up your spine, one that you're glad went extinct. Now it can only haunt you in your dreams. Mosasaurus, apex ocean predator of the dinosaur age. Mosasaurus was a ferocious predator in the ancient oceans of the Cretaceous period, 145.5 million to 65.5 million years ago. While dinosaurs dominated the land, Mosasaurus used its long tail and stumpy, paddle-like limbs to cruise through the water, devouring all kinds of prey with its massive jaws and sharp, cone-shaped teeth. Mosasaurus is one genus, or group of species, out of dozens that made up a diverse family of marine reptiles called mosasaurs. The mosasaurs ruled the ocean in the late Cretaceous period. They were not sea dinosaurs, but a separate group of reptiles, more closely related to modern snakes and lizards. Mosasaurs went extinct 65.5 million years ago in the same mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs, Live Science previously reported. A Mosasaurus species has since been fictionally resurrected on the big screen, most notably in the 2015 movie blockbuster Jurassic World, increasing the profile of this mighty group of marine reptiles. One of the biggest specimens ever found was identified as Mosasaurus hoffmanni and was estimated to be about 56 feet, 17 meters, long in life. Mosasaurs were the ocean's most dominant predator at the end of the Cretaceous period and lived across the world's oceans. Large mosasaurs would have likely eaten almost any kind of prey they were able to catch, including fish, sharks, sea birds, and even other mosasaurs. Anthropleura, largest land-dwelling bug of all time. As a kid, I enjoyed watching those old sci-fi movies where giant ants and spiders, created by fallout from atomic explosions, laid waste to cities and towns. While most of us are not overly fond of creepy crawlies invading our homes, many people love the frisson of learning that there were once really big animals like these. During the Pennsylvanian and earliest Permian periods, about 320 to 290 million years before the present, much of present-day North America and Europe was located close to the equator and was covered by vast, richly vegetated swamps. The remains of this vegetation ultimately formed the great coal deposits that fueled the Industrial Revolution and to this day remain a key energy resource. These ancient swamps were home to many large arthropods, including early dragonfly relatives with wingspans over 2 feet, and the subject of this part, the giant millipede Arthropleura. One species of Arthropleura, jointed rib, is the largest known land-dwelling invertebrate of all time. Unfortunately, nobody has yet found a complete large individual of Arthropleura. One partial body fossil from southwestern Germany has a length of 90 centimeters, 3 feet. It is estimated that the maker of this track was at least 1.7 meters, 5.6 feet, long. Similar trackways have also been discovered in the United States and Scotland. The size of some isolated armor segments indicates that Arthropleura adults could attain a length of at least 2 meters, 6.6 feet. The only even larger arthropod was the aquatic early Devonian sea scorpion Jackalopterus, which, based on one isolated chelicera, pincer-like mouthpart, reached an estimated length of 2.5 meters, 8.2 feet. Phoberamys pattersoni. The sight of small rodents unnerves a lot of people. Now imagine one weighing upwards of 1,600 pounds and standing over 4 feet tall. That's the picture scientists are painting of Phoberamys patterson, judged to be the world's largest extinct rodent based on newly classified fossils. The ancient creature, described in a report published today in the journal Science, lived 8 million years ago as an extinct cousin of today's guinea pig. Guinea pigs make popular pets nowadays. 8 million years ago, however, it would have been hard to find a cage large enough to hold one. The new fossil finds suggest that the enormous creatures could sit on their hind legs like modern rodents. They would have used their front paws to handle objects. The researchers also found crocodile, fish, and freshwater turtle remains near the Phoberamys fossils. This suggests that the rodents probably spent part of their time in the water eating aquatic grasses. The researchers speculate that Phoberamys was able to get so huge because there weren't any grazing animals competing with them. What types? Think horses or cows. The rodents disappeared when ferocious predators arrived on the continent. For us, their extinction is probably a good thing. It might be tough to clean up after your cat if it happened to drag one of these things into the house. Hallucigenia. Sometimes it's hard to tell what an animal looks like when it's been extinct for over 400 million years, just ask Hallucigenia. Hallucigenia wears its name well, it's a floppy hallucination and a complete blast from the past. Scientists studied this thumb-sized worm for more than 50 years before they were able to determine where its head was. When we put it in the electron microscope, we saw not just the pair of eyes, but also this big smile of teeth grinning back at us, and that resolved for all of us not just the position of the head, but all of the detail in that as well, explains Martin Smith, a paleontologist at the University of Cambridge. Based on their analyses, Hallucigenia not only sported long spines on its back, spines that were probably used for defense, Smith says, but teeth around its mouth, a pair of simple eyes, and teeth inside the throat-like area of its gut, to aid in digestion. As for its floppy legs, it's entirely possible that they were too flimsy to help Hallucigenia walk, Smith says. You can imagine him hugging or clinging onto a sponge or seaweed or something like that, and climbing up the sponge and feeding on that. While it clung to sponges, its spines provided some protection. There were probably some quite nasty predators swimming around, but predators that went after Hallucigenia may have received a nice stabbing in return. Titanoboa. Titanoboa simply has no equal among modern snakes, with even the anaconda paling in comparison. Deep in a South American jungle, a huge snake once stalked its prey. After slinking closer and closer to an unsuspecting animal, the silent hunter would strike in a flash and snap its victim's neck in one swift move. Its prey didn't even hear Titanoboa coming amid the cacophony of the prehistoric jungle 60 million years ago. No animal had a chance against the biggest snake in history. Titanoboa, the enormous serpent of legend, thrived in the tropical jungles of South America some 5 million years after the extinction of the dinosaurs. The death of the giant reptiles left a vacuum at the top of the food chain, and Titanoboa gladly stepped up. This prehistoric species grew up to 50 feet in length and weighed as much as 2,500 pounds. That's as long as a semi-trailer you see on highways and about twice as heavy as a polar bear. At its thickest point, Titanoboa was 3 feet wide, which is longer than a human arm. In the hot, humid jungle, Titanoboa fit right in, its brown skin camouflaged it perfectly as it slunk through muddy waters. Some scientists think it killed by constricting and asphyxiating its prey, while others argue that though it looked like a boa constrictor, the resemblance that gave it its name, it behaved like an anaconda, lurking in the shallows and ambushing unsuspecting animals with a stunning blow. Yachiopterus. Those who are unnerved by creepy crawlies should stop watching now. Jackalopterus rhenaniae, also called Pterygotus rhenanius or P. buffalonus, a species from the Silurian period, about 444 to 416 million years ago, in North America, was the largest arthropod ever known. It reached a length of about 2.5 meters, 8 feet. Similar in body plan to the horseshoe crab, Eurypterids consisted of many segments. The animal's anterior appendages served as oar-like swimming organs. Some Eurypterids were active predators and could probably swim rapidly after prey, whereas others were probably bottom-dwelling scavengers. Why the creature reached such huge proportions remains something of a mystery, however. Elevated levels of oxygen in the atmosphere may have allowed some prehistoric animals to grow very large, but the scientists point out that oxygen levels during the period in question were not elevated much beyond current levels. A much more likely explanation, they say, is that the sea scorpions needed competitive advantage over other animals, including other related arthropods. Triassic kraken. The Triassic kraken is a gigantic squid or octopus-like creature hypothesized by paleontologist Mark McMenamin to have existed in the Triassic era, in Nevada, the United States. These elusive creatures roam the depths of the ocean, but it's hard to know exactly how big they get because whole specimens are hardly ever found. While there's certainly little evidence of a truly monstrous squid alive today, McMenamin's theory suggests that there is reason to believe that squid reached stupendous sizes in the distant past. And when we consider that only 5% of the vast ocean has been explored so far, it's entirely possible that something much bigger and scarier than the giant squid once lurked beyond human reach. The final part of the horrifying prehistoric animals ends here. Let us know which one is the scariest horror in the comments section. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.